Emotions. I'm going to talk about emotions today, how they can cloud your view of reality. Let me turn this down just a little bit here. As a man, you should be able to control your emotions. I don't suggest being so vulnerable that you're wearing them on your sleeve. I know there's a lot of talk about men being vulnerable. Well, look up the definition of the word vulnerable. It means to be susceptible to attack or harm. You need to be damn careful about who you make yourself susceptible to attack or harm from. Now, I'm not talking about your mentor or your best friend, someone you can share just about anything with. I'm a firm believer that you should be able to share everything about yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, the shameful things that you'd be ashamed for everyone to know. You need to at least share that with one other individual, someone you can trust. And if you don't have someone like that, you need to have someone like that. And I suggest it not be your wife, your woman, your girlfriend. Because I hear men say that their girlfriend or their wife is their best friend. And I think that's great. But I don't believe it. Because I can tell my best friend or my mentor anything. I could tell him about the girl that I saw at the, where was I today? I haven't left the house, but I could tell him about the girl I saw yesterday at the park. She was so fine. I mean, I was looking at her and I was like, man, I would just love to be with her. And then my best friend might say, yeah, I understand the feeling, but you're married and you're in a committed monogamous relationship. Yeah, I know, but I needed to share that with you because if I don't, I keep that a secret within myself, it gains power. Secrets are very powerful. So whatever you keep a secret, whether it's your goal, which I suggest you keep that a secret and only share that with people who are helping you to achieve that goal, people that need that information, or whether it's something you're ashamed of or something you don't want anybody to find out. These secrets gain power over you and they cause you problems, and they disallow the power that is in you that needs to flow through you to help you to take the action to achieve your goals. But I'm getting way off track here. Emotions can cloud your vision. And I'm going to use myself as an example because I believe by sharing my experience with you that some of you will be able to connect with that and understand how you have allowed your emotions to cloud your experience and your judgment of what is reality. So I went to the fight Saturday night to watch my son fight. He fought once already and he won. It was a good fight. And of course I wanted him to win, right? He works hard, he trains hard. Of course I'm going to love him whether he wins or loses. Although we make jokes about if he doesn't win, he's got to sleep outside. Okay, so he fought this guy, and this guy was really good. And he lost on a decision, but it was a good fight. But while I was watching the fight, and I was coaching, yelling at him, coaching him, I couldn't see how good he was doing. All I could see was what he needed to do because I wanted him to win. I just saw that he needed to throw more punches. He needed to get on this guy to put pressure on him and continue to punch at him. That's all I could see. So I knew he lost the fight, and it looked like to me he clearly lost the fight by quite a bit. He didn't get beat up. The other guy just outpointed him. So there was really no interactions where either one of them looked like they were in trouble. I've fought guys like that myself, and they frustrated the hell out of me because I couldn't get to them. They outpointed me. When I would get inside, they'd grab a hold of me, and it was tough. It doesn't wear you out, but it frustrates you. So he was thinking too much instead of just punching. Okay, so after I watched the fight, I'm like, man, he needed to do this. He wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do that. So I was disappointed. I wasn't disappointed in him per se, but I was frustrated. Basically the same frustration I felt when I fought in similar situations. So I was really emotional because he's my son, and I was actually as nervous or maybe more nervous before he fought than I was when I used to fight, before I fought. So after the fight was over, I was like, man, I'm bummed out, man. He didn't win that damn fight. It was the Golden Gloves tournament. I was really, I told him it was a good fight. I think I did. Okay, but anyway, so I watched the rest of the fights. And then when I got home, I've watched that fight several times since then on video, and it's almost like watching two different fights because my emotions have calmed down. This is why sometimes they say you need to sleep on something overnight. Like when you see something you want to do or want to buy, sometimes it's best to wait to make a decision because of the emotions. So then I'm watching the fight the next day and I'm like, man, that was a hell of a good fight. It was really pretty close. But when I watched it and I knew he was losing and I was in my emotions, I thought he clearly lost. It wasn't even close. Like I said, I knew he didn't get beat up bad, but there just wasn't. Anyway, after I've watched the fight several times, I realized it was a dang good fight. He did a great job. The guy just had more experience than he did. It was his second fight, and that guy had 6 fights. He's 26. My son's 19. And this guy, after watching him on video, he's got quite a bit of experience. He knew how to move. And I'm not making excuses for my son. The guy was a better fighter. The point I'm making is this: I couldn't see it because I was so emotionally wrapped up in him fighting what I wanted him to do, what he needed to do. He knew what he needed to do too, but he couldn't figure this guy out. So he wasn't throwing that many punches, so the guy outpunched him, threw more punches, he outpointed him. It almost amazes me when I watch the fight now. It's almost like I'm watching a different fight than what I watched when I was there in person. But it's your emotions. We see everything through, let's say, a filter of our emotions. So as a man, you have to be careful. Now, if I would have acted on my emotions after he lost the fights, I would have really got on him about what he didn't do, why didn't he do it. I was even looking for reasons why maybe he should have done this or should have done that. But I kept my mouth shut because I knew I was disappointed. Since then, I've told him it was a great fight, did a good job. But at the time, I knew I needed to keep my mouth shut and not say anything about how I felt. So I've lived long enough to know that. And you, in turn, when you're in any kind of situation, whatever it is, when your emotions are high, as a man, you need to stop and think before you open your mouth or before you take any actions. Because 9 times out of 10, when you take an action that results from the emotional intensity you're feeling, a lot of times it's not the correct action to take. And that's the difference between men and women. Men are able to control these emotions in general better than women. I know there are outliers, and this is something if you're not doing, you need to learn how to do it. And you can begin this by, when you're really enjoying a piece of cake or a candy bar or a soda, just don't finish it. Don't take that last couple drinks. I know that sounds somewhat ridiculous, but that's where it begins, because your emotional desire for taste, because it feels good, wants that extra drink. But when you deny that, you strengthen your resolve, you strengthen your character, you strengthen your will just by little steps. You don't have to go out and do it all at once. A little thing. Eat 1 less bite of food. When you want to talk to that girl, go talk to her, because your emotion of fear says you're going to get rejected. It works many different ways. Do 1 more push-up. Run 1 more mile. Get out there in the cold and run and walk. Do a little exercise. Run up the steps instead of walking up them, acting like you're not going to make it. There's so many ways to build discipline to overcome your emotions as a man. It doesn't have to be some big thing all at once. It's these little things. And you didn't get to be, if you are a weak emotional man or you're reacting to your emotions, you didn't get that way overnight. You've allowed that to happen over a period of time by succumbing to your emotional nature. I have nothing wrong with emotions, nothing wrong with feelings. I'm not telling you to suppress. I'm telling you to learn how to control your emotions so they don't control you. He who controls himself is greater than he who takes a city. If you can't control yourself, how do you think you're going to be able to control your financial situation, your marriage, your children? I'm not talking about being a domineering jerk. I'm talking about you as a man need to lead your family. Everybody's watching you. And if they see you fall apart, every time something doesn't go well, you lose your job, you wreck the car, somebody pulls out in front of you, you get shortchanged somewhere, they're not going to trust you. You as a man, it's not about just being strong and having muscles. It's about being strong on the inside. Inner strength. Everything is an inside job. I've said this before. When you feel angry, it's not that person out there. That's you. No one can make you angry. No one can make you sad. You choose to feel that way. And whatever sadness or anger you're feeling when you think that other person caused you to feel that way, you have created this situation or put yourself into the situation to express the anger or sadness that has always been there. It's in there. Everything begins and ends with you inside of you. You are the Alpha and the Omega of your existence. Everything that happens to you began within you first. It's all inside. Inner game, if you like. Learn to control your inner world, and your outer world will take care of itself. It's really just that simple. If you would like to get my help personally, marksinspirationalguidance@gmail.com. I do consultations. And you can check me out on Rumble at Mark's Inspiration. Follow me there. Instagram, Mark's Inspiration. Follow me there. Twitter, Mark's Inspiration, and follow me there. YouTube, if you're watching this on any of the other platforms, Mark Daniels, Mark's Inspiration. I'm here to help you, inspire, enlighten, and build up humanity. And you, my 1,689 subscribers, are that very humanity I want to build up. And why do I do that? Because by doing that for you, it comes back to me multiplied. Yes, I have a selfish reason. I've learned in life that I have to give to you if I want to receive. So that's it. Take care. Have a wonderful day.